Breastfeeding is something so many moms dream about for a very long time, but unfortunately for many of them, it just doesn't come naturally. Joining us now to talk about that is Sandra Artinian, DOHC's new maternal nurse educator. So excited, A, to have you at DOHC, and B, just to be here talking about such an important topic. I want to normalize this. It's not easy for a lot of moms to breastfeed. Why is that?
Thank you. It is difficult. A lot of it is we've sort of lost our culture of breastfeeding, where back in the day you're surrounded by other women that are breastfeeding. We work, we get home and you're by yourself. So a lot of that is just, we don't see it as much. You don't have somebody right there telling you, you're not latched deep enough, or change this position or that. We also have, we want to do it well. And so we have like high expectations, and there's a little bit of anxiety involved, which can get tricky. But it's mainly just having that extra help to get it going.
Is your lactation certified, right, to help a mom?
Yes, I'm a lactation educator.
Okay. It's interesting, all the titles that are out there. So let's just kind of dive into the basics. How often are you supposed to breastfeed? What should it look like?
That's a good question. You should be feeding the baby 8 to 10 times and a minimum in 24 hours. So it's not every 3 hours. You're following the baby. So whenever the baby wants to feed, so it should be a minimum 8 to 10 times in 24 hours. When you're first bringing baby home, they may be what they call cluster feeding. So that could be every hour. And so it's not every hour for 24 hours, but you may have several hours where it's back to back to back. So the main thing is follow the baby's lead. When he or she starts acting like they're hungry, they start mouthing, they start licking their lips, baby's ready.
Their body language will tell
us, right?
Yes. How do you know when baby had enough?
They stop.
Okay.
You're going to offer the baby for as long. If they back off, then you try again. That's how you know that they've had enough. And overall, if you're not sure if baby's getting enough, because that's always a concern with breastfeeding, we don't see the bottle, so we can't measure. So you go by diapers, how many wet diapers the baby's had. So it's 1 wet diaper for each day of life up until 5 days, and then it's like 6 to 8 wet diapers after that. So if baby's 2 days old, you want to see 2 wet diapers in 24 hours. Okay. And that's the best measure. As well as when baby's done feeding, they act happy. We have a term called milk drunk, where they'll just lay back and be very, very contented looking. And that's how you know. If a baby finishes and is still crying and not acting happy, then we have to assume that maybe the latch wasn't deep and we need to try again.
So typically, baby would be sleeping, baby would wake up, cry. That's how you know they're hungry, right? What if your baby is sleeping so much they're not waking up for feedings?
That's a really good question, because that happens. In that case, even though we say don't watch the clock, you don't really want the baby to go longer than 3 hours. So what you can do, you don't watch the clock, but you kind of, in some babies, you do need to. So you're gonna open them up out of their blanket, out of their swaddle, take their shirt off, change their diaper. It's always a good idea anyways to change the diaper before you get started. So change the diaper, get that going, and see if those kind of things will get the baby awake. Okay. Generally it will. They like to be warm and cuddled. So if you expose them, that usually will wake them up and get them going.
So if everything you just said doesn't pan out, which we know for a lot of moms it doesn't, right? What are some of the issues that moms usually face, the problems? I hear my girlfriends say it can be really painful sometimes.
Right. I would say the number one problem is not a deep latch, not a good latch. And that leads to pain, the nipple pain for mom. It leads to they're not effectively taking in milk. If they don't have a deep latch, the milk ducts are further back. If they're just on the very tip, they're doing a lot of work and not getting anything out of it. Okay. So really correcting that latch is key. That's the main thing.
There is help for moms who aren't able to make this happen naturally. And again, we want to normalize asking for help, because a lot of people need to do what? Who do they call? What can they do if they need this help?
Yes, well, you're in the hospital, make sure you're asking to see the lactation specialist there, to have them assess the latch. After you're out, you want to, again, I recommend seeing the lactation consultant at the hospital on an outpatient basis. you can always call me. I can troubleshoot over the phone and make referrals for you. There's also breastfeeding support groups that are really key to help. It's so good to be around a community of moms that are breastfeeding. And in these groups, things come up, people ask questions that may, oh, that happened to me and I didn't think to ask. Those kind of things, as well as, just wanted to make sure, there are breastfeeding blogs out there. So looking things up on the internet. However, you want to make sure they're credible. So the thing to look for is that it's written by a lactation consultant. The initials on that is IBCLC.
IBCLC.
And that also that they're evidence-based. They'll say on their website that they're evidence-based, and they're IBCLC hosts that host the shows. So they offer really good advice, and they cover all kinds of topics.
And one last important thing I think that's important to talk about is if this all happens to you and you're not able to get your baby to latch, I know there's such an emotional toll on mom, and you're probably going through all these other emotional adjustments in postpartum as well, but it could be very trying for the mom to feel this, almost this disconnect from the baby, right? If they're physically not able to attach. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's really hard because our basic instinct as a mom is to be able to feed our baby. And so when that isn't working, it causes all kinds of stress, and you're already hormonal. Your hormones are shifting after giving birth anyways, and it can be really stressful. So it's really key. Also, the pediatricians are going to guide you on if you need to take other steps than getting support. For instance, if it's really, really not going to work, and you just can't keep it up, then the pediatricians will let you know it's okay then to change gears and make a different plan.
Because formula is not bad. I've read this, and I know so many people say just a fed baby is a happy baby. It doesn't matter how you feed them, just make sure your baby's fed.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes, and knowing what your goals are going ahead of time. But yes, you want your baby to be fed. There's a lot of work that can be done with lactation consultants to get you where you need to be. But if it's too much or it's causing you more stress and it's not working for you, then formula is perfect. It's made nutrition, even though breast is best, it's nutritionally sound, it's studied, it has all the nutrients that the baby needs.
Great to know. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you.